Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to get started with what is becoming my most nerve-wracking video series, which is reading all of my book boxes that I get in a month. And these are the February boxes. I am sorry if you hear a high-pitched noise. I really hope you don't. I really hope this is not going to pick it up. I bet it won't. It's supposed to be like a supersonic sound, but my neighbor decided to install a vole deterrent system. And it's just this little like stake that you put in the ground and it lets off this super high-pitched sound every 20 seconds if there's been sun. We love it. We love it. You can't hear it in the backyard luckily, so I probably should have just filmed this on the backyard, but I haven't cleaned the backyard and it's still a little messy from winter. And I like filming on the front porch, so I'm not gonna let the little vole mold detector thing intimidate me, because it is intimidating me. So anyway, I have already filmed this entire video. I filmed this clip as well. No idea where it went. I'm sure I deleted it at some point while making room on my phone for more clips and more videos, because I'm working on so much stuff at the same time. I'm sure, I really hope you can't hear that. So at some point I probably deleted it when I was deleting a bunch of other things. But anyway, because normally if I do that, I'll just come on here and be like, okay, we're starting the video. But because I have this, which you will learn about later in the video, it kind of dates the video, because I don't have this at the beginning of the video, but I do have this by the end of the video. And it's the end of the video. So anyway, for this book box unboxing in February, I only chose 3 books. And originally it actually was only going to be 2. But then I read like some reviews and I read the first chapter from the sample of one of them. And I decided I liked it. I liked the first chapter and the reviews said it was pretty good and more cozy than romantic-y. So it's like, okay, let's go with that. So the 3 books that we're going to be reading are these 3. Very romance heavy, actually. So we have The Rose Bargain from the young adult Fairyloot. We have Wooing the Witch Queen from the adult Owlcrate. And then we have First Time Caller from the Afterlight. So we're going to get into each of these books, but we are definitely going to be starting with Wooing the Witch Queen, which is supposed to be like a cozy fantasy kind of thing. So I'm like excited but nervous. We're gonna start with the one that I'm like the most nervous about. And so we're gonna go into reading Wooing the Witch Queen. There are no spoilers in this video. It is just a chill reading vlog, and yeah, so we're gonna get right into reading Wooing the Witch Queen. It is finally nice outside. Like, it's so nice. This is like the temperature that I love. It's gonna get hot today. Hot to me is anything over like 65 degrees, but it's probably right now it's probably like 62, 63, around that. It is the perfect temperature. But yeah, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go to Joann Fabrics, see what is left over in their sale, and then I'm going to go over to probably end up having to go to Michael's or Walmart to actually get the yarn that I want, because I have a feeling they're gonna be totally sold out because all Joann Fabrics are closing, which is super depressing. And I'm gonna have to, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Where am I in this book? I'm almost through chapter 13, so I think it's like a little over 100 pages. Yeah, it's like 113 pages into Wooing the Witch Queen. I don't really like it. I knew this one was gonna be a risk, and that's why I started with this one. I don't really like it. Like, it's missing all of the aspects that I enjoy when I enjoy a cozy fantasy. Like, I don't feel anything for these characters. So this is following our main character Saskia, and our other main character, I think, is Felix, right? And one of them is the Archduke, but he doesn't really have any power. It's kind of his uncle-in-law? Was it his uncle-in-law or father-in-law who has taken over? Yeah, I think it's father-in-law who has taken over kind of doing stuff in his name, and so he seems kind of like this really nasty evil Archduke. And on the other side we have Saskia, and she is this evil queen. She's really not evil. She has this evil queen, and she has kind of like taken over a bunch of like area of this country, and it's kind of like she's allowing trolls and ogres and stuff to actually be citizens. Like, non-humans are allowed to be citizens, and she's only evil because like the country doesn't like her. I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing. And so Felix notices that like the only place to hide from his father-in-law is to go to Saskia's like territory, and she mistakes him for like an evil wizard or a dark wizard and puts him to work in her library. So now he's working in her library, and that's kind of like what the story is he's working for her and kind of trying to hide his identity as the Archduke, because pretty much she said she will kill him on sight if she finds the Archduke. So he's hiding his appearance. He's already like googly eyes over her, which is kind of cute. And then Saskia is just really focused on preparing her kingdom and making sure it stays alive among the fighting going on with the main continent or main country. And then she's got like two buddies who she doesn't really like, who always are bothering her, and they're the other two evil queens. And that's kind of it. Like, no one is charming, really, and that's kind of what I expect from a cozy fantasy. Like Emily Wilds is the perfect example of what a cozy fantasy should be, where you have a very grumpy character. Like, Emily is a very grumpy character. You have, oh God, what is his name? Brambleby is like this super fluffy, cutesy, bumbling idiot almost, and he's so funny. I think that's what really makes Emily Wilds really good, is he's so funny, and he's like obsessed with Emily and like makes her do things that are outside of her comfort zone, and she's just like it's exhausting, but she puts so much like personality into that, and I think that's definitely what's missing here, because that's the problem is Felix right now. Felix has no personality. Saskia's actually fine. I like her. She does have quite a bit of personality, but Felix just kind of like exists. Like, he's not doing anything for the story, and I feel like that's a mistake, because in the first chapter he actually had a lot of personality, but ever since he got to the queen's place, ever since he got to the queen's mansion or area, whatever it's called, he just has no personality whatsoever, and it's really sad. And I feel like that definitely took the book on a nosedive, because I actually really liked the first couple of chapters, and it's just not working. Like, once they were put together, it stopped working. The story just became about Saskia, and Felix kind of feels like an afterthought, and he's just there's no personality there anymore. And then we don't have like a little sidekick. Like in Emily Wilds we had Shadow, who was really funny and kind of humanized Emily Wilde a little bit, and Saskia has a lot of that, but there's not like any animals. It's trolls and that kind of stuff, but I don't know, because they have their own sentient being, it's not as impactful as like a little grumpy animal. So I wish there was that, because the Spell Shop did it perfectly too. The Spell Shop was really good, because you had our main character who was a grumpy lady, but she had tons of personality, and then she had the cactus. The talking cactus was perfect, and then she like gathered little other creatures along the way, and then you had the cute but competent, like he was like the stalwart, competent romantic interest, but he wasn't really like that important in the book. It was the main characters, and that worked because of all the critters and the whimsy of it. And I feel like this is missing whimsy. That's like the biggest thing, is Emily Watt had so much whimsy because of the fairy hunting, and the Spell Shop had so much whimsy because of the little creatures and having all these personalities and stuff, and the little town. And even, I will say, even Legends and Lattes had whimsy with all the side characters. There was so much personality in those side characters. Still didn't love that one, but I was enjoying that one more than I'm enjoying this one. There's such a lack of anything in this book. So I'm gonna continue it, because I literally only have 3 books, and I just refuse. I refuse to not continue this book. I am listening. I did switch to the audiobook. The audiobook is pretty good, but it's almost making the Felix problem worse. So I may have to switch back, but I don't know. I feel like if I switch back, I'm not gonna want to continue reading it, and I don't want to do that. I do want to finish this book. I have a feeling this isn't going to get anything higher than a 3, just because the lack of personality. I'm hoping that it gets better, because like the Spell Shop, I almost DNF'd within the first 30%, and then I loved the back half of the book, so I'm kind of hoping the back half of the book is way better than the front half of the book, because so far, really not very impressed. The writing is good, though. I will say that. The writing actually is really, really good. It's just cozy fantasy, so if you like cozy fantasy, you'll probably like this so far, potentially. Again, the personalities are a little bit boring. So anyway, we're gonna continue reading Wooing the Witch Queen. I'm gonna listen to it on audiobook as we're traveling around the country. I almost said the country, the county, to get all the things that I need. I might stop at Second and Charles, because reasons. Sometimes it's just good to go in there really fast just to see if they have things that you've been like looking for but you weren't willing to pay like full price for. Oh, I got an Amazon package. Let's go look at the 2 books that I bought last night. I had a bit of I'm in a little bit of a nerve pain flare up. I'm not exactly sure why. I will say my muscles feel really, really tight, so I am curious if all of the exercising, because I've actually been exercising pretty hard. Like yesterday I went to the gym and I sprinted through an exercise, which is really exciting. I used to run a lot, like a lot. For me, 3 miles a day. I used to play soccer and stuff, so I used to run like 3 miles a day and spend like 2 hours at the gym, like an hour of that on the bike alone, and then mixing the elliptical and the treadmill. Yeah, I used to work out a lot, so it's felt really great exercising. Like, I'll be at the gym and I'm like, oh god, I'm so tired, and then I'll like put my favorite song on and I'm like, so I'm loving it. But I think it seized my back up yesterday a little bit when I was at the gym, because I was sprinting on that treadmill. And I like, it's funny, my posture is better when I run than when I walk. I've been working on my posture a lot, because they think that's my problem, is my posture. Because I have forward head posture, because I have a goiter. I have a huge goiter because I have Hashimoto's, and it naturally makes me want to sit my head forward, and so I have to learn to like sit my head back, even though it like makes everything more difficult for me, like eating, swallowing, breathing. I'm gonna have to get this thing taken out, because it's massive. It's so big they have to take an ultrasound of it every year to make sure it isn't cancer, basically, because it literally like acts like a tumor because it's like solid as a rock. It's like I have a rock this size in my throat. It's crazy. I wonder if you can see it. Normally you can see it in pictures and stuff right there. That's not supposed to be like that. So it makes me do this forward head posture, which then puts strain on all the muscles, and they can all tense up, and then that's what's created, I don't know if I've talked about this, that's what's created I have 3 bulging discs, which is fun, but they're not, according to the MRI, they're not pressing against my spinal column, but I think they are when I'm doing certain activities. Like, I was laying on my back perfectly, which is basically what my, I see a spine doctor, and he was like, yeah, MRIs aren't going to tell you like active motion kind of thing. So if you're laying down and you weren't in any pain, it's probably not going to show what's going on. So he thinks that there is like pinching nerves everywhere in my back because of the bad posture and the muscle tightness. So exercising helps a lot with that, but I do think, because I was running and I was like really in the zone, and I feel like I locked everything up. So I took a bunch of drugs last night and I started feeling a little bit better. But this morning I am feeling a little, like everything's just really tight, and I can't take anything because I gotta go out. So basically when I get home, we're gonna take my muscle relaxer and my gabapentin. But yeah, my legs, that's what I noticed yesterday, is I get nerve pain on my skin. And so I was starting to get like a little flare up on my thighs and on my feet, which I really don't like when it affects my feet. That really freaks me out. So I was a little upset last night, and I bought 2 Bics on Amazon, and it made me feel a lot better. Which is like not how you should deal with your problems, but I did that anyway. So let me show you what I bought. So I got 2 books, and normally I don't buy from Amazon. It was definitely a moment of weakness last night. Like, I really don't like buying books from Amazon, because half the time, number 1, they come messed up. Number 2, that's basically what almost put Barnes & Noble out of business and other indie stores out of business. Oh, look at me, little baby. He hates that I'm outside and he's not out here, but he'll just, oh, you can hear the train. I love that I can hear the trains at this house. Anyway, yeah, he's mad that he's not outside with me, but the second I put him outside, he's just gonna want to go back in, so. And he was literally just outside. Anyway, I bought 2 books that I'm really excited about. I'm trying to read like smaller author books, like that's what I was doing with like the Underwood tapes, and I have a feeling this one is not gonna get a ton of traction. Maybe. I haven't seen it anywhere, no one's talking about it. It is called How to Survive a Slasher. I did talk about it, I think, in my March new release books. Both of these are new release books. I am really excited about this. I think this is gonna be so much fun. I feel like this is just gonna be one of those sit and like kind of cheesy. I hope it's cheesy, because I feel like if you try to make this too serious, it's not gonna work. Like, this is definitely one of those that's like, it should be campy. If this is not camp, it will not work. So I'm really excited. But yeah, I think it's like they live in this town filled with slashers and they have to survive. So I love it. And then the other one that we have, I am so excited. I think this sounds so good. And this is probably the one that I'm gonna read today, because I am so excited about it. It is They Bloom at Night. This cover is terrifying. That's actually why I wasn't going to read it originally, is the cover terrified me. But I love the premise of this story. So I'm really, really hoping I like it, because it's like an algae bloom takes over things and they have to survive like the monstrous things that are coming out of like the swamp or whatever it's called. Yes. and people are going missing. So I love a mystery and something. So just trying to figure out why people are going missing, what's going on, why is this happening. I am so excited. So anyway, I've been talking for 18 minutes in this update just because it's the morning. Nothing has really happened, but I wanted to talk to you guys. That's literally what's happening. So we're gonna continue reading Wooing the Witch Queen. Like I said, I'm going to a bunch of places today. I might shoot some. Let's see. I'm really bad at getting B-roll. So, and I actually, a lot of you voted for no B-roll, which I love, but I might do some stuff in like Second and Charles and Joanne Fabrics or something like that, depending what I get. And I'll show you my haul at the end of the day. We'll do a little mini shopping haul today, which is always fun. So you already got a little bit of a haul with these 2 new books. So yeah, let's go do that because I got a lot of stuff to do today. He's really hyper. I'm surprised he didn't start rampaging. I like threw him on the bed. Oh yeah, okay, hold on, let me move him so you can see him. There you go. There you go, you can watch him. I know you guys like watching the dog more than me. Anyway, I am back from all the things that I did today. We had a great time. Oh, he wanted to be in the sun a little bit. Okay, that's why he was moving. Okay, we went to, I didn't get any B-roll. Nothing. I didn't get nothing. I went to Joanne Fabrics, which I didn't get any fabric. I didn't get any yarn, but I totally forgot that Joanne Fabrics does scrapbooking stuff. So I can show you the scrapbook stuff that I got. I needed to replenish what I had. So that actually worked out really well. Spent $75 even with the sale. That was bad. That was so bad. I got up there and I was like, whoops. It's really like, I have a giant box. I'll show you in a second. But I needed a new place to like store all my scrapbooking stuff because I only have like a tiny shoebox that was not working. So I got a big box. Then I think we went to, where did we go? We went to Barnes & Noble, which was fine. Like, I didn't think I was going to get anything there because the big releases are coming out next week. And then we went to, oh, I went to Sugar Shack. Okay, I'll show you in a minute. I went to the donut store. There's a vegan, so basically where our bookstore is, it's up where our temp house was, because you guys kind of saw the temp house a little bit. So I went up there. That's where the Barnes & Noble is. And that's where this like vegan donut place is, which they taste like regular donuts. Like my husband and I were really concerned going in there and figuring out what vegan donut shop is. And it's like mostly vegan because I get an M&M one and obviously that's not vegan. But yeah, they're really, really good. So I got a couple donuts from that. Again. And then I went to Second and Charles and then I went and got Starbucks because I had a rough day yesterday and Starbucks is my answer to having a rough day. So anyway, let's go in and I finished my book. So we'll talk about that last, but let me show you the little haul that I did first. So first off, we went to Joanne Fabrics and see, this is what I'm talking about, this box. It's so cute. Like it's so cute. So, and it's huge, so I can keep all my scrapbooking stuff in here, and that way it's not like crammed in that little box, and I can fit way more stuff in here. I mainly focus on like, I collect stuff from stuff that me and Lucas do, and then I just put it all in a scrapbook, and it's like, I have like 3 scrapbooks now. Like I think I have 2 filled ones, and then I was looking to get a 3rd one, and I actually found a really, really cute one because I didn't like the design of the one I just bought. So I got a new one. I got a new one and it's so cute. But yeah, I needed to get some I got glue dots, which are like my favorite thing ever. That's like all that I use is glue dots. So I definitely got a bunch of those. And then I got this really cute 559 piece card making kit. It's a card making kit, but I can use a bunch of like the stuff in here for scrapbooking because it has 70 stickers, washi tape, pop dots, envelopes, but yeah, whatever, that's that's nothing. Like other fancy things here, and I can always cut the cards up and like actually use them in the scrapbooking or just use the cards. Like I can always do that. But yeah, so I thought this was really, really cool. And then I got some individual pieces. So this one was so cute. I love that one. I got that one for Christmas time if we do anything during Christmas. I got this one if you do anything for Halloween. I got this one because we always are doing stuff like up in the mountains, and I think we want to go do like Dollywood and stuff, like Pigeon Forge. So I feel like this would be a really good one for Pigeon Forge. And then that one we always do a beach trip, so I thought this would be cute for a beach trip. And then I think, yeah, we're back to the beginning. So I thought those were really cute. And then I got a new, like this is like basically that, but it's pre-chosen. So I really liked the colors in here, and there's stickers. So it came with stickers, so I thought that was a really, really good deal. But I really liked some of these. I think a lot of these are really cute, like that one. So that, and then last thing from Joann's is the scrapbook. Oh my god, it's so cute. It's so cute. I love it. It's adorable. I'm so excited about it. I think this one is so much fun and so much cuter than like the ones I've been finding. Yeah, it's adorable. So I'm really excited to use this one because I think this is absolutely adorable. So anyway, that was the Joann Fabrics trip. Then I went to, where did I go next? I went to Barnes & Noble, but I didn't get anything at Barnes & Noble. Went to the donut shops. Let me show you the donuts. I'm so excited. And I'm just going to eat like half of one a day because I am trying to lose weight, which I've actually done a pretty good job over the last week. And I'm trying not to like make myself hate life by not letting myself eat things. So my Starbucks was my treat today, so I probably actually won't eat one of these today. I'll probably just take like a little bite of one later. Well, I'll have one tomorrow. And I'm also not doing the gym today because that little flare up yesterday was a little scary, so I need to take a little bit of a breather. But anyway, so it's called, what are they called? Sugar Shack. And this is like, yeah, this is what the donuts look like. I mean, they just look like donuts. So I got an M&M. That's a Butterfinger, which is like my husband's favorite candy bar. And then I got him the Lucky Charms one. I don't know if that one's going to be good. That one's borderline. And then just a regular chocolate. So I think they're really good. The sad part is when we moved from our last house to here, one of the big things that we miss is we had a donut place where we used to live, and they were still the best donuts I've ever had. They are so good. If you're in the Charlotte, North Carolina area, go check out OMG Donuts. They're so good. They're so good. But when we moved here, we gained a dumpling place, which I think my husband and I both agree is better to have because it's just like regular food instead of every once in a while getting donuts. So I think the trade was fair. It's just really sad because we have not found a donut place we like as much as OMG Donuts. So it's fun. I hate, like, we've moved a lot. And so food is always like the thing that's really sad when you move somewhere because like you kind of have like all your restaurants that you really, really like. So we lost, if you're in the Charlotte area, check Razoo's out. It's an amazing Cajun restaurant. It is so good. And we haven't found one here yet. So I'm sure there's one here, but we're both just really sad about losing those two places. And one of my other favorite restaurants was, if you're in downtown Charlotte, is Midtown Tavern. Love that place. That place is phenomenal. But we found a different place here that we kind of like that's kind of comparable. But anyway, yeah, I kind of went off topic, but anytime I think about donuts, I just think of the old place we used to go because they're so good. So then I ended up going to Second and Charles. I don't know if you guys know what Second and Charles is. It's basically this ginormous, I have it in some of my book. If you want to go back and watch book shopping with me, I'd probably go to a Second and Charles. They're huge. They're like giant warehouses, and it's filled with, it used to mainly only be used books, but now it's pretty much split. I wouldn't say evenly, but there's a lot of new books now, and they kind of put them on the shelves in a way that's a little sneaky, so you always have to check the back to check if it is a used book or a new book. But, so I don't love that. But they do sometimes have really, really good used books. It just depends who is in the area. And this is the first time I've been to this one, and it actually was really, really good. They had a ton of stuff and a lot of Book of the Month members, you can tell. I also found some Owlcrate copies, which is interesting. So definitely a lot of book people at least go to this one, it seems like. But I did end up getting 3 books and a bookmark. The bookmark is the thing I'm like most excited about. So this is so cool. I'm so excited about this. We are just about to get the new Hunger Games book, and they had this awesome bookmark that is basically a ticket to the second quarter quell. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with this. So the Capitol presents the 50th Hunger Games. Interviews with Caesar Flickerman, second quarter quell, July 8th interviews, general admission, etc. I am obsessed with this bookmark. I'm so happy, and I'm definitely going to use this in the book when I read it. I'm so excited. This thing is so cool. So I'm very happy with that. I think this is made by Out of Print, which is a company that I follow on Instagram, and I was surprised to see stuff there, but I thought that was pretty cool. Then I ended up getting The final act of Juliet Willoughby. This is actually for a secret project. Like, I'm working on the first episode, but this is going to be in the second episode of that project. And yeah, I'm really excited to read this one. So I won't say anything else because it's for the secret project. You guys will know when that video comes out, like what I'm talking about. Anyway, then I ended up getting Honey and Spice, which is a book I've actually wanted for quite a while. This seems so good. Everyone who's read it seems to love it. And I'm definitely in, like, I feel like my romance era. I've been really enjoying romance books. So I think this is gonna be really, really good. And then one I have wanted to read for a while, but I've been really nervous about, and I've never seen a used copy, even though this thing looks brand new. It is The Blood Trials. I've heard really good things about this. I've heard it's very bloody, like very bloody. And it says it's very fast-paced and action-packed, and it is a duology, so I do like that. But it is deadly trials in a racist and misogynistic society become an elite warrior. So I've heard really good things about it, so I'm pretty excited about this. And it does seem more it's like a sci-fi fantasy mix, it looks like, but it does seem a little more sci-fi, and so I always need more sci-fi. So that's what I got from there, and I think that is it. Yeah, I got Starbucks and then I came home. So let's talk about my thoughts, finally. Let's talk about my thoughts on Wooing the Witch Queen. Let's put the actual cover back on it. I still don't like this cover. It hasn't grown on me. It really hasn't. But when I was at Barnes & Noble, I looked at the original cover, and I really don't like that one either. Like, I don't like either of these covers for this book. So I am a little upset about that because this is a series. I figured that out at the end of the book. This is going to be I'm guessing this is going to be a trilogy because I think it's going over the 3 Wicked Queens. So there's 3 Wicked Queens in this. Saskia is our one from this book, but there's 2 other. And it said at the end of this, the next one's going to be Enchanting the Fae Queen. And it gave a little, like, tidbit about it. And yeah, that's gonna be the next one. And I assume there's gonna be a third one with the 3rd queen. So I'm kind of sad. Okay, first of all, I gave it a 3.5. The back half of the book was a lot better. I'm really excited about it. I enjoyed it so much more than the first half of the book. I feel like the audiobook 100% was the way to go with this because the narrator added this, like, depth and layer to the characters that I feel like just the writing didn't exactly give. I think either way, Saskia is a fantastic character. I have no notes. No notes. She's fantastic. I love her. Felix really is the problem. I feel like the author did not utilize Felix in a way that made him an interesting character. Like, I felt like he kind of was just there until the end when I was like, oh, he's actually kind of a good character. But I just feel like he wasn't developed enough. I feel like we started off developing his character and then he was thrown to the wayside to develop Saskia and the queens and other people more than him. So I didn't 1000% buy the romance because I feel like he just wasn't a focus of the book and I really needed him to be a focus of the book. And I just wish, like, what I wanted basically was a role reversal from assistant to the villain, or what is it? Yeah, assistant to the villain. That's basically what I wanted out of this, was Saskia is the villain and Felix is the girl in it, and he just needed just more personality. I wanted him to, like, bug her. I wanted him to just be kind of like all up in their business all the time, and he was just such this quiet, demure character that it was just very difficult to get to know him as a character. And I think that's fine if this book was, like, a lot longer and the point was to draw the romance out multiple books, but it wasn't the point. Like, they got together at the end of this book, so that was not the point of this book. So I feel like his character could have been better if it was developed over multiple books, but because that's not the case, you kind of need a more robust character to really grab your attention in such a short book, in a single book at that. So yeah, I'm giving it a 3.5 though. I did enjoy it, and I'm really happy about that. Sad I don't love the cover. I get it. I do get it now that I've read it, but I still don't. I do think I do like the spine though. I do like the spine. So I don't know, I'm so torn because I'm gonna want to get the second book. Should I go get the original cover? But I don't love the original cover. But I don't know if Owlcrate's gonna do it. I feel like I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and see if Owlcrate announces they're gonna do the second book. And if they do, then I'll get it from Owlcrate. And if they don't, I'll probably go get the original cover and collect the original covers. I'll probably still, I don't know. Will I keep this? I don't know. I am keeping it now. I am keeping it now. If Owlcrate does not do a matching edition for the second book, I may purge it then, depending on what I decide to do. But I am definitely keeping it. I do like the spine. I think the spine makes a lot of sense. I think it's really cool. So I am happy about that. But yeah, I would recommend this for fans of the Spell Shop and of Legends and Lattes and all of that. There was like 2 spicy scenes, but it was mostly like, I can't say closed doors because like you're seeing what's going on, but it wasn't graphic. Like, you know what's going on, they're telling you what's going on, but there's no like weird innuendos of body parts included, which I very much appreciated because some of the stuff in some of these romanticises is goofy. I still wouldn't listen to that out loud. Like, there's sections that it's really just 2. It's 2, and one was very, very brief and was more like a moment, and nothing really happened during that moment. There was one sex scene, and it was very briefly described. It was very almost, it was like you were peeking through a door. Like, that sounds so creepy, but it's like, you know, it's open door, closed door. This was like halfway open. I guess, if that makes sense. So I would recommend this. I think it was fun. I would recommend the audiobook. So we have a little bit of a winner finally from these book box books. I'm about 35% into this. I think that's where I said I was. Where am I? 150 pages about into this book. First, I'm gonna give a little weird health update. I'm gonna give a very strange little health update. I never thought I would have to talk about this because I thought I was like past this happening, but when I was a kid, I actually contracted shingles twice when I was in middle school. It was really bad. I have a scar on my stomach from it, and then the second time I had it, I had a giant spot here. It swelled up half my face, almost lost my eye, everything. It was crazy because no one could figure out what it was, because a middle schooler should not be getting shingles. Like, that's just like, it shouldn't be happening. Ever since that happened, I get shingles once or twice a year. In college, it was up to twice a year, and it was always during finals. It was always during finals. And because it comes out with stress, and then if I get sunburn, if I get really, really bad sunburn, I'll get shingles. But they think it's like a mix between shingles and cold virus. So for probably 10 years, I didn't have a cold, like, at all. Like, I rarely had a cold, and normally during cold season, when everyone was getting sick, I would get shingles instead. So they thought that the cold virus was turning into shingles or something. Like, it was expressing as shingles when it was really just the cold virus. But yeah, so super weird. Super weird. They actually tried to diagnose me with sexually transmitted herpes when I was in middle school and told me I got it from a toilet, and my mom actually lost her mind. And then when they did the testing on it, they're like, oh, it's shingles. And my mom's like, yeah, no shit, it's shingles. She's like 11. So that was a wild thing. But ever since COVID, when we went into isolation, I didn't get sick at all for like 3 years, from like 2019 to 2022. I didn't get anything. I worked in a hospital where we were all masked up and gloved up constantly, so we really didn't like touch anything that other people were touching, and I wasn't face to face with patients. It was a medical lab tech position, so I didn't get COVID until 2023. I think it's the first time I got COVID, and in those 5 years, I didn't get a cold, I didn't get the flu, I didn't get anything, and I never got shingles in that time period, which is super weird. So I was like, oh, is it done? But if you didn't notice, I got a little spot right here, and that is, I believe, a shingles spot, because it's like a cluster of 3. It's kind of hard to see, but if you don't get it, you wouldn't notice it. Like, but right now it'll look just like pretty much like a zit, but it's itchy and I'm having a headache. If you were physically here, it's like a cluster of 3. So I'm like, this is crazy. This is actually crazy. I didn't think this was happening again, and I hate it because explaining this to the doctors is such a pain in the butt. And I have new doctors here, and they're impossible to get an appointment with. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to go sit in an urgent care sometime. And anytime I go to urgent care, they try to tell me I don't have it. And I'm just like, you're dumb. This has been going on for over 15 years. So I think you need to chill and just listen to the patient for once, because they actually know what they're talking about, because they've been diagnosed like 6 different times with the same thing. So yeah, weird update. But yeah, I have a splitting headache, so that's gonna be fun. It's not that bad right now. It's mostly just like, I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. It's so strange. Anyway, that aside, because I just wanted to let you know why I had that weird bump right here, because I looked in here and I was like, what is that? Like, what is that? But yeah, that's the telltale location for me because I don't get it on my stomach anymore. They think that my nerve was weakened when I got it up here, and so it attaches to like the nerve of my eye, so it's super fun. So anyway, weird things are happening. Yeah, like I said, I'm 35% into the Rose Bargain, and I have a lot of mixed feelings about this book. Oh, you know what? I don't have my light on. Maybe with the light on you can see it better. That's so bright. I don't know if I want that on. I don't know if I want that on. You cannot see it. You can see it a little bit, but oh God, I don't know if I want that on. It makes the less grainy, but my God, it's very bright. But yeah, I'm 35% into this book, and we are following our main character. Don't even remember her name. Don't even remember her name. What is her name? It's just funny because when you read a book that is first person, they just like don't use people's names that often. So it's really easy to forget people's names. Ivy, that's what it is. So Ivy is part of a disgraced family. That's kind of, but she's like, I think she's the daughter of like a Marquess. I don't know if that's actually how you say it, but she's the daughter of some high-ranking official, but their family has been disgraced and they're having issues with money and all this type of stuff. So when she's entering the season, like it's definitely like a selection-esque type thing, and plus Bridgerton, but she's entering the season and she's trying to find a husband. And the point of this is that the queen, it's kind of like an alternate timeline thing where, I don't know if you guys know anything about War of the Roses, but War of the Roses was between the York line and the Lancaster line, and it was basically both families had a claim. But in this alternate history, this woman, this queen, came and she is from the Fae, and she killed both lines and she made herself queen. This alternate English history is really, really interesting. So we have a Fae queen on the throne, and she has said that her Fae son is going to be taking a wife. And so there are 6 women competing for his hand in marriage, basically. There's like fairy bargains and trials and secrets and all this type of stuff. And I really like that side of the book. That side is so interesting. So Ivy's competing because she needs wealth, but there's also other stuff going on behind that. And she's trying to like protect her sister who had some issue like thing happen. So I'm actually really liking the writing. The writing, I mean, it feels very young adult. I'm just, oh my God. But yeah, I'm like so torn on this book because it is super bingeable and I love that. I'm having a great time reading it. The problem is I love half of the plot and I hate the other half of the plot. So I'm loving the general plot with the competition and trying to win the prince's hand and getting to know the other girls and dealing with the Fae magic. I love that. And Ivy's a really interesting character, so I'm enjoying all of that. But there's this other side where the romance is really going to be, at least I assume, that's what it seems like. The romance is really going to be with the second prince, and it's basically in the synopsis, so it's not really a surprise or anything, but he is trying to do something, so he's helping Ivy because their motivations align, basically. I'm trying not to give anything away, but it feels like his character has just been like thrown into the story. It's like she wrote the whole book and then the publisher or the editor or somebody, or even just her, like reread through it and was like, I don't really like that she ends up with the main prince or that she ends up with nobody or whatever the original ending was. Let's throw in a brother and make it about this, because that's what it feels like all of a sudden like Prince Emmett will show up and this like whole side tangent story happens and you're just like, ew. I don't like it. And I think the problem is it feels very, very forced. And it feels like a very impatient author writing this story is the problem, because we were immediately introduced to him and already it feels like he is supposed to be the love interest. So it doesn't feel like there's any tension. They don't feel like they know each other, but they're already talking like they know each other. So it just feels like this character is the relationship between Emmett and Ivy is not very well done. So that is like the biggest problem with this book, is pretty much anytime Emmett is on page, I'm not into the book, which is a problem because I think he's going to start being in the book a lot more, because like if this is the romance, like he has to be in the book more. But yeah, I'm not loving that. But I am liking everything else. Although I do think her roommate, she has a roommate, Faith, very two-dimensional, kind of female hating woman, and I don't love that, is more focused on getting her boyfriend back. and blaming other women for her problems than dealing with them herself or just letting go because she was dumped. Like, that's the problem. Like, she's blaming everybody else instead of just going like, oh, this just wasn't meant to be. Like, why am I hating other women? Like, she literally hates other women and it drives me nuts. So don't love that character either. So it's just like some aspects of this are really, really good and overall very bingeable, but some aspects are very underdeveloped. Like, I feel like that's the best way to put it, is the Emmett character and storyline is so underdeveloped and forced that it's partially ruining the book for me. So I'm really annoyed about that. So I'm hoping that side of the book gets a little bit better, but I'm not really into that side of it, unfortunately. And yeah, it's definitely Emmett, because that's one of the scenes together, I believe. Yeah. So that's a little frustrating. Anyway, I'm going to continue reading it. I don't think this will take me very long because, like I said, this is like, it is so readable. Font is massive, so I don't think this is like actually 370 pages. This is probably closer to like 320. So it shouldn't take me too long to finish this book. So probably the next 2 or 3 days, depending on how I'm feeling and how much I'm into reading right now. But yeah, I am enjoying it. I definitely have some major problems with it at the same time. First, let me pop up a picture of the UK edition of Wooing the Witch Queen. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? That is so much nicer than both the Owlcrate and the US edition. What are you talking about? If I like the second book, I will be getting Wooing the Witch Queen from, God, the crow, all the birds are out right now. I will be getting edition from Blackwell's, all order edition from Blackwell's, because that's insane how much nicer that is than the US and the Owlcrate edition. I'm pretty upset about it. I'm like really not happy about it. Anyway, I have finished The Rose Bargain and I'm really torn about what to give this book. The romance is like a 2-star. It got a little bit better. Originally the romance was like a 1-star, but I did kind of start liking it towards the end. And then the actual plot is between like a 3.5 and a 4-star because I didn't really love the ending. But it was very bingeable. It was like this really, really fun plot to just read. It's basically a mix between The Selection and, oh no, what is that book called? I can literally picture it. Oh no, it's like an ACOTAR ripoff, the book that I'm thinking of. Like, it acts very similarly to ACOTAR. I don't remember what it's called. I'll put it down below. But yeah, it's just like that book mixed with The Selection. Like, very similar vibes. And I think I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna give it a solid 3 because, like, I did enjoy my time with this. I don't think it's necessarily good. I did like the writing, but I do think there was a lot of problems with the romance and a lot of problems with the ending of this book. And also, what do you mean that this is not a standalone? This isn't a standalone. This is the first book in a series. I don't know if it's going to be a trilogy or a duology or what. It better just be a duology because this book cannot be dragged out for another 2 books. I thought this was a standalone. I went into this thinking it was a standalone, and then you get towards the end of the book and you're like, there's no way. Like, there's actually no way. There's 30 pages left and so much has been left unresolved. And yeah, there was definitely a pretty big cliffhanger. Nothing was resolved in this book. Well, there's some stuff that was resolved. But yeah, this is the first book in a series. So if you didn't know that, now you know. Rose Bargain, first book in a series, will be more. So yeah, the romance was probably the weakest part of this. It just didn't work very well. It was very forced. I did start feeling it towards the end, but it like took too long to like, it just was shoved in your face too early on. That's really what it is. You shouldn't have met this character, especially if this is going to be a series. What are you doing? Like, you don't even need to like introduce it that seriously in this book. That could have been something that was dragged into book 2, but instead it was like all the emotions in book 1, and it was like, but not really. Like, really, you really don't care about this couple that much. Like, the plot is definitely way more intriguing and way more interesting and what I was addicted to in this book. I really did not care about the romance, which is weird because normally the romance is generally what I like to read about. At least it used to be. Apparently I'm a plot girly now instead of a romance girly. But yeah, I thought the plot was really, really well written. This is the definition of a... We have a wind chime. We lived in this house for almost a year and I didn't know we had a wind chime right there. This is the definition of a popcorn fantasy. Like, I feel like popcorn thrillers is like a common thing, or popcorn mystery. This is a popcorn fantasy. This is something that is not... you don't take it too seriously. It doesn't have the best plot points. It doesn't have the best moments or characters. There's a lot of two-dimensional feeling things happening in this book, but it is wildly bingeable. I don't think you're really gonna feel much reading this book, especially that ending was a little bit chaotic. Like, a lot of stuff happened at the end that was just like, what is happening? So didn't love the ending, but I would say this is like a popcorn fantasy. This is very popcorny. It's very bingeable, very readable, digestible. It was really easy to keep track of everything that was going on, all the characters, everything happening, and the world is a nice, neat little bow. Like, it's not explained super well, but it doesn't need to be because it's not too far outside of the human realm type thing. It's just like a little bit of magic added into the human realm. So it's, yeah, popcorn fantasy. So I would recommend this if you just want to read something like really quick and easy and you're fine with reading the first book in a series. I'm still mad about that, but yeah, this was fine. I had a really good time reading it, but I don't think it's anything I'm necessarily going to remember. So far we have a 3.5 from Wooing the Witch Queen and a 3 from the Rose Bargain, because I think that's the thing. I feel like I overall enjoy this is why it's so complicated. I feel like I overall enjoyed this better than, you know what, we'll put this as a 3.5. We'll put this as a 3.5 because the two books are totally different and I enjoyed them in different ways. But I think I enjoyed this one more, but I think Wooing the Witch Queen is actually a better plotted book. So that's why I'm like, so that's why it's weird. It's one of those weird rankings where I like them for different reasons. This one was just super bingeable, popcorny, and Wooing the Witch Queen had a little more substance and a better plot dynamic. But in both of those, the romance was lacking, I would say. So I think that's why it's awesome that we're now moving into First Time Caller, because hopefully it's a romance book. So hopefully it has a good romance. We are on to our final book, and that is First Time Caller. I actually read the first 50 pages. I'm exactly at 50 pages, which is in the middle of a chapter. It is I'm towards the end of chapter 4, and this is so good. This is so good. Oh my god. The writing is so good. The characters are so good. I am already kicking my feet. And you guys know how I feel about, like, I don't love it when we're introduced to like the romance at the beginning, but it's perfect. It's perfect. There's no insta-lovey thing about it. There's just like this feeling, and I love it. I love it. I feel like it's been a while since I've read a romance where I'm just like obsessed. So I have very high expectations. I don't get why it's this long. It is such a long book. Like, this is such a long book, but I'm having such a good time with this, and I'm like, this is great. This is great. And this is the first book I've read in a while that has a kid in it. It is an older kid, which I tend to be okay with. I actually like older kids in books because they're kind of funny a lot of times. So this is an older kid in this book, and what she does is she calls into this radio show, and it's called Heartstrings, and she is like, I need you to help my mom with romance because she won't date and she needs to date. And I love the dynamics in this book. And so she comes into the room and she's like, why is there a grown man talking to my daughter? And he's like, whoa. She called me, okay? I'm a radio host, okay? And they end up talking for a really, really long time about her fears and her hopes and what she wants from life. And it's so adorable. And that's kind of like what kicks off the story. And then we're introduced to the father of the daughter, Maya, and he's like their next door neighbor, and he's living with his partner, his husband, and it's so cute. I love the dynamics. I love the mother-daughter relationship, which I normally don't like, but I'm obsessed with it. And then we have 2 points of view, so we're also getting his point of view, which I'm really, really enjoying. I think is definitely going to make the book so interesting, seeing both of their sides. So I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm going to continue reading it. I'm having a great time. I am 100 pages into First Time Caller, and I am not kidding you when I say I am so obsessed. I am so obsessed with this book. I am kicking my feet. I am screaming. I am giggling. I am just like obsessed with these characters. And I have not read in a very long time characters written this well, and the dialogue. Oh my gosh, it feels magical. I can feel Sleepless in Seattle in this book, which is amazing. And the dialogue is so good. And I feel like I'm listening, like I'm physically reading the book. I feel like I'm hearing them talk to each other in my head, which I don't think I've ever experienced. It is insanely, amazingly written so far. Like I said, I'm like 110 pages in. The only thing that I'm not loving about the story, and again, this is a personal issue for me. This is like, it is just because of how my personality is. I don't love how the father of Maya acts. So in this book, you have obviously our main character, Lucy, and you have our other main character, don't remember his name. I'm so focused on Lucy because she definitely, like, you feel like you know more about her. Maybe Aaron? Is it Aaron? I don't know. I don't remember his name. But Lucy has Maya, who is her daughter, and she got pregnant at like 19 or something like that. She got pregnant really, really young, and the father is just a really, really good friend. They haven't gone like super into that backstory, but he is now married to his husband, Mateo, and so it's great. I think it's Grayson and Mateo, and they live literally like right next door. I don't love Grayson's attitude over Lucy's life. Like, Lucy had, basically it opens up with Lucy talking on that radio show, whatever, and it goes viral, the clip of her talking, and Grayson finds out about it, and he like literally storms over yelling at her for like not being the one to talk to him about it. And I generally don't get along with people like that who feel entitled to your emotions because they know you. Like, I don't even like if my parents do that. But I think that's because I grew up in a very private type of family where you kind of like hold your feelings in. You hold your feelings in and you talk about them when you're ready, like when you want to. And so I never do well if someone tells me that I have to do something or tell them about something. That immediately is like a cut you off. I don't want anything to do with you anymore. Get away from me. Like, that's the kind of person I am. So Grayson coming in and being absolutely a bully to her and being mad because she didn't tell him about this stuff is like the most selfish behavior in my opinion, because he's more mad that he's been like left out. And he says it's more like he's mad that he didn't know she was suffering and stuff, but it's like, why are you mad? Like, this is borderline abusive behavior, blaming her for her feelings because you didn't catch on to them. I hate that. I hate that. And it's just like gonna make her feel worse about things. Like, I do not like that. He should have been more like, how he should have reacted is how Maya and Mateo basically reacted, which is, I wish we had known, like, I'm sorry you didn't pick up on this, or we're here if you ever want to talk about it. Not throwing things and slamming doors open and yelling, and that, it's supposed to be funny, I think, and that is the only part that I don't find funny. So I don't really like that character. I love the idea of the dynamic, but I specifically don't like how that character acts. So I wish that character had been toned down and been more of a comforting shoulder and less of a me, myself, and I type of character, which is what he kind of seems like right now. So don't love that. I don't love that, but everything else I'm obsessed with. Like, I'm obsessed with. And like when he's interacting with Maya, totally fine. It's literally just his interaction with Lucy during those little points, like about that one specific thing. Everything else is fine with them because they were just watching something together, and I thought it was really, really cute when he's actually being like a normal human being and not a jerk. So yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I am a little nervous because it is so long. It's so long. It's like 400 and something pages, I think, which is really long for a romance. So I don't know how I feel about that because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm worried it's gonna drag. That is like my biggest concern. But as of right now, I'm obsessed with it. I'm having a great time. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say about because I'm having such a good time. So yeah, I thought I was just gonna update you at 50%, but I'm just like, I'm having that much of a good time that I wanted to tell you how much of a good time I was having, because I feel like this is the best time I've had reading in all of 2025 and like half of 2024. So I don't know where this book has been my whole life, aka not published yet, but I am very excited. So we're gonna continue reading that for the rest of the day, off and on. A little sneak peek of a project that I am working on. You guys can take guesses about what I'm doing. but that is one of the books. If you didn't know, I DNF'd this when it came out. So what am I doing with a copy of it? So I'm also going to be reading that today as well in the background. But you guys don't hear anything else. That is the only time you're going to see that. So if you managed to watch the whole video and you saw that, you can take guesses about what my next video project is going to be. I have a couple of different video projects going on right now. Apparently I'm very creative in 2025. Who knew? Who knew? I sure didn't. But anyway, let's go back to reading. I'm having a great time. Man, it feels like I'm FaceTiming my mom. Normally when I FaceTime my mom, I'll put the camera as close to my face as possible and go. And then she always goes, ew. That's what it feels like. It's 6 in the morning. My dog decided he wanted to go outside when my husband left for work. So my husband left for work and Taz immediately jumped down off the bed and was barking at me. So that was fun. And I'm the type of person that once I'm up. So I'll probably have to take a nap later because I'm still tired from the shingles. But I'm just laying here heating my neck and my upper back and reading. I'm officially at 50% of this book, and it's just like she injected some sort of magic drug into this book and into these characters and into this plot. I don't know what it is, but I still love it. I love it. I love Grayson now. That definitely, I feel a lot better about Grayson now. I love the dynamic of Grayson. It definitely has worked out for the best, even though I originally didn't like him. And Aiden, it's Aiden, not Aaron. At least I was close. Like, that's what matters. So I was close. But yeah, I love him. I love Lucy. She is such a fun main character. I love Maya. I love everybody. I love everybody in this book. Jackson is so funny. Aiden's friend. Oh my gosh. Grayson and Jackson are definitely the two that I love the most, just because they kind of have picked up the vibe between Aiden and Lucy. And so when they're together, they do that thing where they like look between the two of them and they're like, and I'm just like, so I'm like right there with them. We're both laughing maniacally while we watch this unfold. And so I love that. I love having a character that like knows what's going on and it's just like, and I'm sitting there going, it's great. It's great. I love it. I can't talk about spoilers. Like in my brain, I was like, oh, I could talk about spoilers, but I really don't want to because I want everybody to read this. As of currently, still not done with it. But like right now, this is amazing. It's amazing. I'm kicking my feet. I'm screaming. There was a moment about 10% ago that I was starting to lose interest in the romance. I will admit it. And I was like, oh no. And I was trying to figure out why, because I was like, this is so good. Why am I losing interest in the romance and in the story? And I think it's because they were still trying to find Lucy dates, but it was like it became suddenly Aiden and Lucy were like hardcore flirting with each other with like a lot of sexual vibes, and that lost me because I like it to draw out way more. And so at 40% it was starting to feel like they were gonna hook up, and I was like, I really don't want that. Like, that will, like, kind of ruin the book for me. It won't ruin the book, but it definitely will take a turn that I don't want it to take yet. So it didn't, though. They talked about their feelings for each other and were like, yeah, we gotta stop. We gotta stop flirting. And I was like, oh, this just makes it even more tense. I love it. So it ended up working out for the better, thank goodness. So, for anyone who does not like smutty romance, we are 50% in. There has not even been a kiss. Not even been a kiss. Lots of tension. Not even a kiss yet. So it's great. It's great. Like, this is my type of romance. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. That's all I gotta say, because like I said, I don't want to talk about spoilers or anything like that. I'm having a great time. I'm just gonna read the rest of the morning. It's like 2 hours later, and I have finished First Time Caller. 5 stars. 5 stars. Best book of the year. Easily. Like, hands down. The best book I've read all year. I loved this. I loved this book so much. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take this off because this is actually how I was reading it. Because I love this cover. I wish they had sent an art print of this because I 1000% would have hung this up because I love it so much. It's amazing. It's perfect. I cannot put into words how much I loved this book. It has changed my brain chemistry, and I don't know what to do with myself. I was gonna read Butcher and Blackbird after this. No, No, there's no chance. There's no chance. I'm gonna have to like take a break and just like sit and stare at the ceiling for a while after reading this. Thank God Sunrise at the Reaping came out, because I think that's so different from this. It'll be a good next book to read, because I don't know if I'll be able to read a romance again for a while after how good this was. I feel like I want to talk about this book, and I can tell you all the little things that I loved about this book, and when I stop recording, I'll remember 1,000 more little things that I loved about this book. So I will try to remember as much as I can, but it really revolves just around, I mean, first of all, the writing. The writing is amazing. This is, oh my gosh. I forgot how good books could be just from how good the writing is. Like, I feel like my expectations of books have been lowered over the past couple of months, because when I read Wooing the Witch Queen, I was like, oh yeah, this is good writing. It wasn't. It was fine. It was fine. This is good writing. This is good writing. I feel like I literally have been giving stuff higher ratings than I probably should have, because this has come around and I'm like, this. I can enjoy books. I realized that as I was reading this. I was like, oh wait, I actually love reading. It just has to be the right book. So this book has like made me realize things, and it's so good. So yeah, the writing alone, phenomenal. Like, absolutely phenomenal. Magical writing. The dialogue is disgustingly good. Even the sex scenes. So at about 60%, we had, actually, it was just like a makeout session. There wasn't a sex scene until probably 70 to 75% into the book. And they were pretty graphic, but it was like 2, and it still revolved around the romantic connection. And so even that was done spectacularly. Like, I literally can't. So even that was done well. And then, like I said, the dialogue, amazing. The characters are some of my favorite characters I've ever read about. I think my favorite characters are actually, so she's actually a mechanic. That's what she does as her day job. And I think my favorite characters were her coworkers, the grumpy mechanics. I loved them and how obsessed they were with the podcast, or not the podcast, with the radio show, because they did turn it into a podcast. And it's so good. It's so good. Even the epilogue. I'm so glad I have the Owlcrate copy, because the epilogue is so fantastic. I love the mechanics. I love Aiden's best friend, Jackson. Our 2 main characters are my favorite characters, which is great. I love both of them. I think they're both amazing. And it was a bunch of adults acting like adults, which I love. I love that. Like, even the third act conflict was like one of those things that it's like, okay, this is obvious that this is going to happen. And it was resolved very quickly. I love the daughter. I think Jackson and the mechanics are my favorite. And I love the daughter. I love Grayson. I love Mateo. Mateo wasn't in it too much. I kind of wish we had gotten a couple more scenes with Mateo in it. But Grayson's great. Maya's great. All of our characters are great. I love the characters. Like, I so amazing. I do wish there had been a couple of more dates. Like, I feel like this seemed like it would be more of like her going on a ton of dates while they were talking about them, and she really only went on 2. So that was like the only thing that I wish there was more of, like a montage. I think that would have been really fun to have a montage of dates. But other than that, there's nothing that I disliked really about this book. Like, there were little tweaks of things, but nothing I disliked. So yeah, this is 5-star best book I've read this year. I am so excited. So let's do a recap for this video, because it went insanely well. So for this episode of reading all of my book box books that I get in a month, I really need to work on that title and what this is called. These are all the book box books that I got in February. I definitely went light, and I think that definitely helped my reading, but I literally just picked stuff that I thought I would like, and it definitely worked in my favor. So these are all the books that we read in the order that we read them, and the order of what I liked, actually. So definitely Wooing the Witch Queen was good. I liked all of them. I just have some issues with 2 of them. So first of all, I gave Wooing the Witch Queen 3.5, but I actually think I'm going to lower to a 3. The more I think about this one, the more I'm just like, yeah, it's kind of there. Like, it's cute. I have no lasting feelings probably about this book. I do want to continue in the series, but I don't know if I'm going to want to get copies for myself. Like, I don't know. I'm still going to keep this for now, but this is not something that I'm gonna actively think about all the time. Like, I won't even remember when the sequel comes out, and then I'll be like, oh, the sequel's out. So yeah, 3 stars, enjoyed it. Had an issue with the romance. The Rose Bargain, this is the next thing that we read. This gets a 3.5. I'm gonna keep it at a 3.5 because it was very popcorn fantasy. It was very fun to read. Again, had a problem with the romance. I thought it was very underdeveloped. It felt like a secondary thought when actually reading the book. I love the actual plot of this one. I thought it was really fun. I do wish we had more dynamic characters. That's something I didn't notice as much until I read First Time Caller, but yeah, I wish this had a little bit more dynamic characters. We got to know them a little bit better. But I loved the weird trials and the bachelorette aspect of this, and that was just a lot of fun. I do think the ending lost the plot a bit because it's been done a lot. It's been done 1,000 times. So I wish we had gone a different route with the ending, but I still enjoyed it. And I will be continuing with that series, even though it should have just been a standalone. I can't believe I got tricked. I feel like I was tricked. And then we read First Time Caller, which is amazing. 5 stars. I loved this book. I would highly recommend it to most people. And even people who don't like sex scenes, there really weren't that many in this. It was definitely more about the tension, and it would be really easy to skip over the sex scenes in this because there's only like 2. It does not permeate the book. There isn't one until like 70%. So loved that. I thought it was so good. I just can't. I cannot recommend this one enough. I loved this. 5 stars. Easy winner of the video and winner of 2025 so far. So this will most likely be on my favorites of 2025 list. So yeah, that is everything that we read in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This was a super success. Like I'm so excited. Finally, I liked everything that I read in a video. I was a little worried. We were a little worried at the beginning of Wooing the Witch Queen, but we got there. We enjoyed everything. Found a new favorite book of all time. Like it is a new favorite book of all time. And yeah, I'm very happy right now. I'm very happy. So definitely make sure you subscribe to miss any future content. We will be getting 4 books in March. I'm trying to remember which ones I'm getting. If you don't want any spoilers, just that's it. That's the whole video. But I believe I am getting Fan Service from Afterlight, The Prince of Sorrows from Owlcrate, which I don't think I'm gonna like, but I wanted the box. So that was kind of an issue. I would have skipped it otherwise, but I really wanted the book pot that comes in the box. And those normally resell for more than the actual box. So it was actually worth getting the box. And then we're getting, oh no, I don't remember. We're skipping Owlcrate Adult. We're getting whatever the Owlcrate, our Infinite Fates. Or Infinite Fates, which will be in the video, but briefly, because we're actually reading that for our book club next month, I think it's next month. So that one will just be very, very briefly in the video. That will have its own dedicated vlog eventually for book club. And then the young adult Fairyloot. Is it Where Darkness Meets? I don't remember if that's that one or the month after, but it's one of those. So yeah, we're getting the Owlcrate, the Afterlight, and the Owlcrate and Fairyloot young adults, skipping the adult Fairyloot and the adult Owlcrate. That doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right. Let me go check. I actually don't, because I deleted it. So you'll find out when I do. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future content. We have the book box videos coming out. We're starting back up with Fairyloot purges in, what is this month? This month is March, April, May, and May. But we're doing book of the month next month, which I'm really excited about. That is going to be the most chaotic video. Like, I'm working on it now. It is the most chaotic video I think I've ever filmed, besides that giant unhaul that I did when we were in our old house. That one was crazy. But yeah, it's so chaotic. I'm having a great time. I don't know if it'll translate to an actual video, but I'm having the time of my life being as chaotic as possible. So we're doing that. So definitely make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Like the video if you enjoyed it. And yeah, leave a comment down below if you want to read any of these, if you have read any of these, if you've read any of the other book box books that came out. I definitely want to know if you guys enjoyed them and what you thought about them. And yeah, that is everything I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in the next video.